2023 is here, and the upcoming lineup of PlayStation 5 games looks to be the most promising yet. Hey everyone, welcome to Play, Ranked, Share, the show where I play the marquee PlayStation 5 titles, create ever-evolving lists of the best PlayStation 5 games, and share my opinions with you. My name is Tyrus, and this video is focused on my top 25 PlayStation 5 games set to release in 2023. What game are you looking forward to the most? Make sure to leave a comment below. I would love to hear your thoughts, and with that out of the way, let's jump in. Starting off the list, Street Fighter is making its long-awaited debut on the PlayStation 5 with Street Fighter 6, and it's coming out on June 2nd. What I'm keeping my eye on is the World Tour mode, a single-player career mode where you use a customized fighter to interact with the world of Street Fighter and train yourself up to be the best fighter possible. The initial roster of 18 characters features sets that are brand new to the series, and fans can be assured that this game will be supported with many more additions to the roster for years to come. Everyone knows that the most important thing to focus on during the apocalypse is dating. One part hack and slash action game and one part dating sim, Eternights explores seeking companionship while the world is falling apart. I think this blending of genres could create a captivating game as you manage responsibilities such as completing dungeons, scavenging for supplies, and going on first dates. With 5 dateable companions, growing your relationships with them results in getting new skills and spells to use in battle. The last given release date for Eternights was early 2023, so it shouldn't be long before we hear more about this game. When looking for new IP that is coming out in 2023, Atlas Fallen is one that quickly caught my eye. Developed by Deck 13, creators of The Surge, Atlas Fallen is an action RPG where you must liberate your people from corrupted gods. I think the implementation of weapon choices is something really fascinating about this game. It appears that you're in possession of shape-shifting weapons, as your moveset is based around sand-powered abilities. This game can be played solo or with friends and promises fast-paced gameplay with large beasts to overcome. While we wait over a decade between new entries in the Grand Theft Auto franchise, and the most recent entry of Saints Row being a dumpster fire, there is a large hole in the open-world crime genre. Enter crime boss Rockay City, a single-player or cooperative open-world game that features a bevy of Hollywood talent, including Chuck Norris and Danny Trejo. A first-person organized crime game, you play as Travis Baker, who wants to take over the crime world of Rockay City. While we have only seen one trailer so far, I have desperately wanted there to be more high-quality organized crime games, so I'm rooting for Rockay City to land on its ambitious promises. Who knew that the story of Pinocchio meeting the Soulsborne genre could have the potential to be a hit game? Lies of P is certainly generating interest among the gaming community, as each trailer released for this game is seemingly going viral. A brooding, ominous world awaits Pinocchio as he attempts to become human. This game has a unique lying mechanic where some quests are procedurally generated based on how the player lies, and these choices will affect the ending. Lies of P looks to have a truly unique idea fostered within the game, and time will tell if the team executes on these ideas. Ranking at number 20, I've seen multiple trailers for Little Devil Inside, and I'm still not entirely sure what type of game this is. The game looks to be delivering an inquisitive story with an art style that I've been drawn to since the game was shown at the PlayStation Showcase in 2020. Featuring both single-player and cooperative multiplayer, you play as explorers who venture out after supernatural events and experience both their professional and personal lives. I think it's safe to say this oft-delayed game will finally be coming in 2023, and I cannot wait to find the secrets hidden within this world. In 2022, Elden Ring received over 200 Game of the Year awards, but that's not stopping developer From Software from releasing more quality games. 2023 will see the release of Armored Core 6: Fires of Rubicon, bringing the mech shooter back into the limelight after From Software has established themselves as one of the premier developers in the industry. The first mainline entry in the franchise since 2012, Armored Core 6 will be a departure from the Soulsborne genre that From Software has made popular, with the developers confirming that this game will not be focused around difficult combat encounters. I cannot wait to see how Armored Core will perform upon release. I think it's a given that this will become the best-selling mech-focused game of all time. At number 18, Forspoken is now just a couple weeks away from launch after initially being revealed at the original PlayStation 5 showcase in 2020. In Forspoken, you play as Frey Holland, who is pulled from her life in New York City and thrust into the fantasy world of Athia. Forspoken is a fast-paced open-world game with deep combat systems, and I enjoyed trying out the demo that was made available after the Game Awards last month. This is a bold new IP for publisher Square Enix to release, and I'm eagerly awaiting playing the full game very soon. 2023 is the year we finally get to play Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, the long-in-development game from Rocksteady Studios, creators of the Arkham trilogy. In the DC universe, Brainiac has taken control of the Justice League, and it's up to the bad guys to save the world. I have already decided that my main is going to be King Shark, but look forward to playing with my friends online to take down the Justice League. I expect the boss fights in this game to be some of the best we experience all year, since what's more compelling than having to kill Superman? Coming in mid-2023 from Sabotage Studio, developers of The Messenger, is Sea of Stars, a retro RPG inspired by some of the greatest of all time like Chrono Trigger. Sea of Stars will use elemental combat to take you on your adventure and allows the player to control up to 6 different characters. Like most indie games on this list, I am blown away by the art direction created by this small team. Your 2 main protagonists are children of the solstice and use their powers of the sun and the moon to fend off a wide array of enemies that you will encounter on the journey. Creative director Sam Lake recently confirmed that Alan Wake 2 is still slated for a release in 2023. The long-awaited sequel to the 2010 cult classic, Alan Wake 2 promises to be a more polished survival horror experience. Aside from that, not much is known about this sequel, which was announced at the 2021 Game Awards. When the game does launch, I expect it to be a smash hit unlike the original. The survival horror genre is bigger than ever before, creating the perfect opportunity to ratchet up the scares for Alan Wake 2 and help it reach a brand new audience. Based on the Three Kings period of Chinese history, with some fantasy twists, Wolong Fallen Dynasty looks to scratch the itch for players looking for a new Soulsborne experience. Developed by Team Ninja, who are recently known for the Neo series, Wolong is a linear action-adventure game that looks to bring some difficult boss encounters along with it. The game will have you focusing on deflecting enemy attacks to be able to implement your combos, and if it sounds like Wolong is up your alley, you don't need to wait long, as this game will come out on March 3rd. Just the second game ever published by Kepler Interactive, Flintlock: The Siege of Dawn is a beautiful action role-playing game slated to come early this year. In this game, you must save humankind from extinction as the old gods have turned their back on the world and allowed the undead to attack the surface. Equipped with rudimentary guns, magic-based abilities, and animal companions to help you tackle the undead, Flintlock promises to be a game where difficulty is baked into the experience. I think the art direction of this game is impressive for a smaller team, and look forward to seeing just how difficult Flintlock really is. What do you do before the world ends? Season, A Letter to the Future, explores this topic when it launches on the PlayStation 5 at the end of January. An atmospheric adventure game, you leave home to collect memories, knowing that a cataclysmic event is on its way. Primarily traveling on bicycle, Season is a slower-paced game, where you take the time to meet people, record the environment, and learn about the world around you. The unique visual style of Season has caught my eye, and combined with this bleak subject matter of an eventual end, I feel like this game is an indie darling waiting to happen. I think publisher EA is making a very shrewd move creating Wild Hearts, a competitor to the Monster Hunter franchise. Wild Hearts aims to be a more simplified and streamlined experience compared to the sometimes obtuse Monster Hunter. The world, named Azuma, is inspired by feudal Japan and will have 4 different biodomes to explore, each inspired by one of the seasons. Players will be able to tackle these uniquely designed beasts with 2 of their friends, and the game will feature 8 different weapon classes. I love the creature design in Wild Hearts and think this could be a sleeper game this year when it comes out in February. Kicking off the top 10, Hogwarts Legacy looks like it could be the open-world Harry Potter game I have dreamed of playing since I was a kid. Taking place 100 years before the famed books, This game promises a true open world where players can explore Hogwarts and Hogsmeade. Trailers released for Hogwarts Legacy have shown a wide breadth of features that players can expect, such as being sorted into your house, taking classes to refine your skills, and venturing into the Forbidden Forest. After being delayed for multiple years now, it's safe to assume Hogwarts Legacy will finally come out at its current release date of February 10th. I'm a sucker for alternate history games, and Atomic Heart explores a world where robotic advancements lead to the USSR defeating Nazi Germany during World War II. A first-person shooter that incorporates RPG mechanics, Atomic Heart looks to be a promising story-focused single-player shooter. The addition of magic-based attacks will give the player lots of customization and combo potential in how they want to handle enemy encounters. And combined with the distorted reality setting, I'm honestly getting some BioShock vibes from this game. Hyper-realized graphics with disturbing robotic designs has me eagerly awaiting to play Atomic Heart on February 21st. Out of all the Game Awards trailers shown last month, I think I was most intrigued by Banishers, Ghosts of New Eden. Everything about the setting of Banishers is so compelling to me. You got a late 1600s setting, you got ghost hunting, you got two lovers as your main protagonists. Everything about this game is screaming unique to me as you roam through the forests of North America. Through a combination of standard arsenal and spiritual powers, Banishers looks to bring a promising style of combat with it. Developed by Don't Nod Entertainment, creators of Life is Strange, Banishers will also have a branching narrative that will dictate the final fate of the inhabitants of New Eden. What might be the best survival horror game of all time, Dead Space, is being remade by EA Motive and coming out at the end of January. Dead Space takes place in the year 2508, and you play as engineer Isaac Clarke, who travels out to a deep space mining ship to learn why communication has been lost. Once boarding the ship, Isaac quickly learns that not all is well, as alien creatures have eviscerated the crew. Horror games are more relevant than ever in recent years, and I feel like this is the perfect time for Dead Space to get more recognition and revitalize the franchise. I don't think I'm being hyperbolic when I say that an indie trailer has never blown me away quite like the debut trailer for the Plucky Squire did. You play as Jot, who is thrust out of his own storybook when the villain learns that he is destined to lose. From there, you must set out on an adventure that takes place both on a 2D and 3D plane, interacting with other stories and blending various genres. The Plucky Squire looks so polished, and my only reservation is this game might be too ambitious. Regardless, this is my most anticipated indie game set to release in 2023. Out of all the games on this list, Star Wars Jedi Survivor is likely going to end up being the best-selling game. Continuing the journey of Cal Kestis, trailers seem to portray a darker tone, as Cal is on the run from the Galactic Empire. One of the few Jedis left, Cal must do whatever it takes to stay alive. This game will feature a more fleshed out combat system compared to the original, with 5 different unique stances for players to utilize. The last game in this series, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, was one of my favorite games of 2019, so the bar is certainly high for Jedi Survivor, but I think developer Respawn Entertainment will deliver a true Game of the Year experience in this very busy year when it comes out in March. PlayStation fans, if you don't have developers Shift Up on your radar, I think it's time you do, because their game Stellar Blade has impressed PlayStation executives so much that they have decided to publish the game. Stellar Blade is a hyper-stylized action game which fills a surprising hole in the PlayStation exclusive game offerings. Stellar Blade looks beautiful, and I cannot wait to battle against the variety of technologically modified demons that you appear to face in combat. I think it's interesting that PlayStation is finally deciding to partner with a Korean studio, as they are clearly expanding their horizons when considering what type of studios they partner with. Regardless, 2023 does look light on PlayStation published games, but I eagerly await jumping into the world of Stellar Blade. The revitalization of the Resident Evil franchise is approaching its most important moment yet on March 24th, when the remake of Resident Evil 4 comes to the PlayStation 5. Playing as Leon Kennedy, you are sent on a mission to save the daughter of the President of the United States. However, you run into paranormal trouble as you learn the daughter has been captured by a cult that worships ancient parasites. With the original being one of the most lauded video games in history, I am convinced that Resident Evil 4 will be an instant Game of the Year contender, because the game is simply too important to publisher Capcom for it to be anything less. Without a doubt the biggest PlayStation exclusive coming in 2023, Spider-Man 2 not only brings together Peter Parker and Miles Morales, but also promises to introduce Venom. Developer Insomniac Games has proven to be one of the most important PlayStation studios, now releasing their third PS5 game before some studios have even released their first. While not a lot has been shown about the game, we do know that it's coming this fall. Even with the lack of gameplay or story details, Spider-Man 2 ranks as my second most anticipated PS5 game of 2023, since Insomniac is such a reliable developer and their name is synonymous with quality. I may be getting myself a little overhyped, but I'm convinced that Final Fantasy XVI is going to be a legitimate Game of the Year contender, going back to a more traditional medieval era setting, but implementing modern action RPG game mechanics. Final Fantasy XVI looks to tell a narrative of epic proportions. While still implementing the staples of the franchise like chocobos and spirit summons, Final Fantasy XVI is taking the franchise to a grander scale, with Yoshi P, the director of smash success Final Fantasy XIV, behind the helm of this new game. Final Fantasy XVI is my most anticipated game of 2023, and I am counting down the days until it launches on June 22nd. If games release when they expect them to, I anticipate this will easily be the best year of PS5 games so far. What my mind keeps going back to is that we don't even know everything coming this year, as I'm sure there are plenty of surprise games that will come out in the second half of 2023. I hope you enjoyed this list and found at least one new game that you are putting on your radar, and that has been this episode of Play Ranked Share. Make sure to ring the bell to be notified when future episodes are released. If you like this video, be sure to check out my recent Game of the Year ranking videos, both overall and indie. What 2023 game are you looking forward to the most? Be sure to leave a comment below. I would love to hear your thoughts. And until next time, don't stop sharing.